Hey sailors, welcome to week 3 and thanks for joining me. I'm Captain Mo and this week we're learning about points of sail. Well, we've already learned about the wind and we've already learned about buoyancy. Can you remember back to week 1 about the wind? Just like a car uses gas as fuel to travel, what does a sailboat use as fuel to travel? The wind! We use the wind as fuel to travel. The sails capture the wind. Now, if we just go outside in our sailboat, hop aboard with our life jackets on, will we just start sailing away? No, not quite. We have to learn the points of sail so that we can adjust our sail so we can catch the wind just right. Let's take a look at my boat here. Ta-da! Now imagine you're a bird flying high in the sky and you're looking down at the boat. That's what this is, bird's eye view of the boat. We need to learn a few terms about this boat that'll make it a little easier for us to learn points of sail. So, some boat identification terms for you. Do you know what the top part, the very most forward part of a boat is called? It starts with a B. It's the bow of the boat. How can I remember bow of the boat? Well, when you take a bow, you bow forward, right? Wow, the bow of the boat is all the way forward. If the boat were turned like this and we can see the hull and the keel, all the way forward is the bow of the boat, the pointy end. All right, let's move on. We'll travel down to midship, middle of the ship. And we call this widest part of the boat the beam. This right here, the widest part of the boat, is the beam of a boat. Moving on down, almost to the bottom, but not quite. This side here and this side here. Further aft, further down of midship, is the quarter of the boat. And all the way back here, we have the stern. Right here is the stern of the boat. It's flat and rigid. When somebody is very stern, they hold their finger like this, really straight, like the bottom of the boat, like the back of the boat, the stern. All right, now just 2 more words that we need to remember. All right, the right side of the boat. If you're sitting in the boat, imagine you're sitting back here holding onto the tiller and looking forward. The right side of the boat is called the starboard side of the boat. Starboard side. Why is it called the starboard side of the boat? Well, way back in the day, when they didn't have rudders yet to control the boat, to control where the boat went, that rudder, that part that sticks out in the back of the boat into the water, connected to your tiller, instead of a rudder, they had a steering board. And the steering board was like a big oar. And they would drop it into the water. Someone had the job of holding on to it. And they would move it and control steering the boat. The steering board. After time, and they invented the rudder in the middle of the boat, they just turned the steering board side of the boat into the starboard side of the boat. So the right side is the starboard side. And there's a color we associate with the starboard side. Can you guess what it is? It's green. So I'm going to color the starboard side of the boat green. All right. Now, what's the other side of the boat called? The left side of the boat, if you're looking forward. It's called, dun, da, 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 port. The port side of the boat. Now, how can we remember that it's port and it's the left side? The word port and the word left both have 4 letters. Okay, so if it's the left side, it's the name that has 4 letters, port. All right, and the color we associate with the port side is red. So I'll color over here red so I can remember the left side is the port side. All right, good job. Way to go. Let's move on. Something about our sails before we learn points of sail. Our sails work like airplane wings or bird wings, creating what's called lift. When our sails interact with the wind in just the right way, it carries us forward through the water. An example of lift is this. If you take a piece of paper, holding it, blow onto the top of it, and you see that even though you're blowing on top of the paper, it lifts up. How does that happen? Well, you've just created lift. You've blown air across the top of the piece of paper, making that air move faster. When that air moves faster, it lowers pressure, and the pressure from underneath, the air pressure, actually is greater, so it pushes it up. Faster air moving over the top, less pressure, which causes the pressure underneath to lift it up. That's the same thing that happens with a sail. So we have to control our sails so we can create lift, especially and particularly when we're sailing upwind. All right, today we are going to make our own interactive points of sail wheel. It looks like this. We have all the different points of sail on our wheel. And here's our boat with one mainsail. You get to name your sail. Mine's SV, which stands for Sailing Vessel, Dolphin. And you can move your sailboat around and adjust your sails accordingly. Let's go, I'll teach you how to make it. We'll need these few items: a paper plate, scissors, a fastener, pencil, marker, cardstock, and if you don't have cardstock, you can use another paper plate. And if you want to get creative, you can use all sorts of colors to decorate your wheel. Alright, let's begin. So, take your pencil and your paper plate, and we're going to make a clock to help us out. Draw, write, number 12, 3, 6, and 9. That helps me space out my other numbers. Then I'll draw in 1 and 2 o'clock, 4 and 5 o'clock, 7 and 8 o'clock, 10 and 11 o'clock. And then draw a circle, or a dot rather, in the center of your plate. Now draw a line from the center of your plate, that center dot, to the number 1. Great, now draw a line to number 11. Excellent. Let's draw a line from the center to number 7. And we'll draw a line from center to number 5. So we've just created an X. Let's draw a line to the rest of the numbers as well. on your X's, that big X that we first made. Go ahead and make that X with a thicker marker. Now for our wheel, we are going to assume the wind is always coming from 12 o'clock. So you can draw an arrow here at 12 o'clock. You know that that's where the wind is coming from. This area right here is where we can't sail. Our sail won't fill with wind. So this is the no-go zone. What's another term for the no-go zone? What happens when we're in that zone? We're in irons. So we'll write in irons. We can't go anywhere. Can't sail. Okay. Now, if we turn downwind, turn away from the wind, the closest point to the wind that we can sail is called a close reach. So on this line that goes to number 2 from the center, let's write close reach. And we can do that on both sides. Now, what's it called when the sail comes over the beam of the boat, the side of the boat? When we turn 90 degrees away from the wind, when we move sideways to the wind, that's called a beam reach. The wind is coming over the beam of the boat. And it's called beam reach if we're pointed that way too. Now this point of sail with the line to the number 4 and the line to number 8, that's called broad reach. B-R-O-A-D. And what's it called when we are heading downwind? The wind's behind us. It's called a run. And you can always decorate it. Maybe you can draw somebody running. Maybe yours will be better than that. My person likes like they're sitting. Oh well. Okay, great job. Now, we have to put our boat on our wheel. You can use another paper plate to make your boat, or you can use cardstock. Let's draw our boat. Our boat is kind of like a triangle that's rounded. With a flat bottom. The stern of the boat is a straight line. Great. And then to make our sail, we're gonna make what looks like an exclamation point bubble letter. So make our kind of exclamation point sail like that. And then go ahead and cut them out. Alright, here you have your sail and your boat. You can name them if you'd like. Sailing vessel, anything really. We write sailing vessel S/V. Sailing vessel. And here's the mainsail. Alright, now for this part, to attach the sailboat and the mainsail to your wheel, maybe you'd like to ask an adult for help. So I'm going to be using my scissors, carefully poking a hole in the center. And I'll have to do the same thing with my boat. Alright, grab your fastener, put it through your sail, put it through your boat, put it through your wheel, turn it over, and open it up to fasten it together. There you go. Excellent. So, there you have it. One more thing about our wheel. If we are moving from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock with our boat, 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, or from 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock, then we are heading downwind. So I'm going to draw on the side of my wheel a line and an arrow, both sides. And if I'm moving from a point of over here down here, then I'm sailing downwind. So I'm going to write downwind on these lines. If I'm moving from a place down here and traveling towards the wind, closer to the wind, I'm sailing upwind. I'm moving my boat upwind. So if I go from a beam reach to a close reach, I've just sailed upwind. So if you're moving from a lower spot, a spot more downwind, to a spot more upwind, you're sailing upwind. Go ahead and write upwind on that line. Do you remember what the right side of the boat is called? This whole right side. It's called starboard. It's the starboard side of the boat. And what color do we use on the starboard side of the boat? Green. So I'm going to color this side green. How about the left side? What's the left side called? It's called the port side. So I'm going to color the left side red for port. Awesome. All right, great job. Can't wait to see yours. All right, now let's do this together. Pull out your points of sail interactive wheel and put the bow of your boat into the wind, into the no-go zone. Now, the no-go zone is also called in irons. Why is it called in irons? Well, back in the day when there was a prisoner, they would put them in shackles, like handcuffs, but the shackles were made out of iron. And where do you go when you're in shackles? Nowhere. So when you're in irons in your sailboat, you're not getting anywhere. You're not sailing. So that's the no-go zone, in irons. And what happens? What is the sail doing when you're in irons? It's luffing. It's just flapping. So we're going to try and get our sails full. Let's move our boat to a close reach. And you can go a close reach either direction, turning away from the wind, turning downwind. Now, a close reach is where we can sail close to the wind. We're sailing as far upwind as we can, as close to the wind as we can, and our sail is right about center, creating lift and carrying us forward. If you turn downwind, if you turn away from the wind, so that the wind is coming over the beam of your boat, well, you're on a beam reach. Let's keep heading downwind, all the way to a broad reach. What part of the boat is the wind touching? Well, it looks like it's touching the quarter. When the wind is coming over the quarter part of the boat, we're on a broad reach, and we let our sails out, letting out the sheets. And when we turn downwind even more, and the sheets are all the way out and the sail is all the way out, we're on a run. Like you're running away from something. And when you're running away from something, that thing is behind you. And when we're on a run while sailing, the wind is behind you. All right, let's go all the way back upwind to a close reach. Now, what's it called when we take the bow of the boat through the no-go zone and end up on the other side in a close reach? It's called tacking. We've just tacked our boat. Excellent. Now, let's move downwind to a beam reach. What do we do with our sails? Do we pull them in? No, we let them out. On a beam reach, when the wind is coming over the beam of the boat, we're gonna let our sail out halfway. And when we head to a broad reach, when we turn downwind even more, we let the sail out even more. Now the sail is catching the wind just on one side. And if we head down to a run, we have our sail all the way out, running. And we're catching the wind on one side of the sail. Great! How'd that go? Next week, we're gonna see points of sail in a real boat. We're gonna get outside and use our sailboat. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you this week on our Zoom meeting. Keep an eye out in your email for a link to join, and the password is SAILING, all capital letters. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Captain Mo out.